Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Mitchell. I'm a zoological medicine professor at Louisiana State University. And I've been working on a partnership with my team at Fluker Farms. And we're going to talk to you today about a new diet, the Crafted Cuisine line. As an academic and a herpetoculturist, I'm very excited to share with you Fluker's Crafted Cuisine line. This is a line that's been scientifically formulated using research to create diets for animals we're keeping in captivity. With over 10,000 different species of reptiles out there, it can be tough to meet their daily dietary needs. But what Fluker's has done is to create a turtle, a tortoise, and a bearded dragon diet, along with an herbivorous lizard diet to help meet the needs of these animals. I'd really like to talk about moisture in the reptiles' diet. Reptiles have evolved to get their moisture through their diet. They're not expected to drink 4 to 6 glasses of water a day like we are. Because of that, what we give them in their diet is very important. Many commercial diets are dry-based and they have less than 10% moisture. The Crafted Cuisine line has moisture content that's analogous to normal foods, being greater than 60 and 70%. What this is important for is keeping those reptiles hydrated and preventing diseases such as dehydration and gout. Let's talk about ingredients. Many commercial diets use fillers as their first ingredients, corn, soy, or wheat. But what we put in as the ingredients really provides the nutrition these animals need. In the case of the Crafted Cuisine diets, we selected ingredients that are normal parts of these animals' diets. In the case of the bearded dragon, we used mealworms and crickets. In the case of the turtle diet, we used fish meal and dried mealworms. In the case of the herbivorous diets, the garden variety and the tortoise, red bell peppers, sweet potatoes, and Timothy hay are used. These are all really essential ingredients to these animals, and we balance them out to ensure that we're getting the appropriate calcium to phosphorus balance, vitamin A, vitamin D, trace amino acids, and trace elements in general. Nutritional diseases are a common problem in our captive reptiles. Most of us think about these diseases, we think about metabolic bone disease or secondary nutritional hyperparathyroidism. This is a problem that commonly occurs when a diet has too low of calcium, too high of phosphorus, and insufficient vitamin D. Many of the commercial diets have a negative imbalance of calcium to phosphorus. The Crafted Cuisine diet has a positive ratio, which is important to the health and growth of these animals. The research we did looking at Crafted Cuisine versus cricket diet showed us that the blood calcium and phosphorus levels for animals fed Crafted Cuisine were absolutely where they should be, whereas those fed the crickets started to inverse, to suggest that these animals were going to have growth and development problems. It's one thing to create a diet, but getting something or someone to eat that diet is a whole other thing. With these Crafted Cuisine diets, we find that the majority of these animals will free choice eat these diets. And for those that may be like a child, a little more picky, we can take this diet, mix it in with other ingredients, such as a nice salad, and get them to eat it. And it ensures that we are getting them the nutrition that they need, prevent those metabolic bone diseases, ensure their hydration, and give them a good long life. One of the toughest groups of reptiles to identify a diet for in captivity are herbivorous reptiles. These are those that like to eat vegetation. We're often limited to what's available in the local grocery market. And while we can find a diverse number of foods there, the nutritional balance of these diets isn't always the best. The idea behind our Crafted Cuisine diets for both our tortoise and our garden variety diets for lizards was to create a diet that could be put with those greens that provides the appropriate nutrition, fat, moisture, and vitamins, minerals, and trace elements. You may be asking yourself, why do we create a Crafted Cuisine diet for adult bearded dragons and juvenile bearded dragons? In most cases with commercial diets, there's a one diet that's supposed to fit all. But all of us who have been raising these animals understand the nutritional needs of a young, fast-growing lizard are much different from an adult bearded dragon. We crafted this diet to ensure that the calcium-phosphorus ratio was balanced for both of these life stages. Very similar to what many of us see now with our pet dogs and cats. I'm commonly asked, how much should I feed my reptile? In the case of the Crafted Cuisine diets, our recommendations are based on the number of pellets that should be offered. And we give a general reference on those things based on the amount of calories that we expect an animal's going to need for that day. Of course, there can be a wide variance in the weight of our pet reptiles, and so what we ask you to do is offer a certain amount of pellets and then decrease or increase based on the needs of that animal. It's important to get those animals out of their cages and get them exercise and monitor their body weights on a regular basis. Anytime you design a new diet, it's important to do clinical trials to ensure that that diet meets the needs of that animal. With the Crafted Cuisine line, we've done a number of clinical trials to ensure that the diets are palatable, to ensure that these animals are growing appropriately by measuring their body weight. We've measured blood values to ensure that kidney, and liver, and mineral are where they should be. And we've even done CT scans to ensure that the growth of the skeleton is where it should be to minimize issues like metabolic bone disease. It's being able to do this type of projects to ensure that these diets are going to meet the needs of your pet. It's not uncommon for a lot of reptile pet food manufacturers to recommend in their directions to feed their diet exclusively to your pet reptile, but no diet can meet all the needs of your pet reptile. At Fluker Farms, we realize this and think diversity is important. In bearded dragons, for example, this diet should be supplemented with crickets or mealworms because it institutes normal foraging behaviors in these animals and gets them moving.